Words cannot describe just how terrible this show is. The plot moves at a glacial pace, with most of the characters crying about whatever mental illness or pointless family drama they are dealing with, rather than having any actual agency and trying to move the story forward. This is all just filler because the major mystery of the show is shallow and predictable, and because there is very little story, the writers have to pad out the runtime with boring forced drama until this gang of wankers eventually team up. So until then, we are just left watching shit such as Emma having problems with her mother, Jordan's dad calling it by the wrong pronouns, Marie finding out her sister does not wish to speak to her, so she has nothing else to do other than trying to be popular, and Kate telling Andre to stop investigating the woods for the 20th time because she is clearly working for the dean. It's only Andre moving the plot forward, trying to figure out what is happening underneath the school, but that's only near the end of episode 3, as he too is also bogged down with his own family drama, as his father is putting too much pressure on him.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Take all that and add in a lot of bad acting, terrible dialogue, incredibly unfunny moments, characters forming relationships on a moment's notice, and a lot of retarded political messaging, and what you have is Gen V, a god-fucking awful show. Now, before I get a massive headache thinking about this shit heap, let's run through the pathetic excuse for what this show calls the plot. Episode 3 starts off with a flashback of Golden Boy and his girlfriend Kate as they meet up with his mentally ill brother Sam. He is having a tantrum and Golden Boy is able to calm him down until a guard randomly decides to shoot him for no reason.
Why?
This is all an excuse to throw in a violent scene until Kate comes to the rescue. We cut to the present and Kate wants Andre to stop investigating Golden Boy's death. Again, more proof that she is in on it. Otherwise, she would be the one to lead the investigation and Andre would be the one to tell her no. That is how predictable the writing is. So despite Golden Boy's corpse not even being cold yet, they end up fucking each other.
You're both just awful.
We cut to Marie, who is being held up as the next Golden Boy, and Andre's dad doesn't like that because he wants him to be number one. Andre now says that he doesn't care about the attention and just wants to be a hero.
If I could do something heroic, like actually help people, that would be good, right?
Come on.
What the fuck is he talking about? He slit a woman's throat and left her to die all so he wouldn't get in trouble. And now, all of a sudden, he wants to be a hero. What exactly has brought about this change? Absolutely nothing. His motivations have changed because the plot said so. We then see the bitch who leaked Emma's story try to apologise, but the actress shows zero emotion.
I had no right to co-opt your story. Okay, I apologize.
Can't we get a better actor? I know it's a small part, but I think we can do better than this.
Fuck me, she's terrible. Emma then goes on to have a conversation with her mother about how sad she is.
You are so fucking boring.
Emma's entire storyline could be cut out of the show and nothing would be lost. This is how irrelevant she is. I know the reason why we are spending so much time with her is so that she can be a girl boss later on, but fuck me, do we really have to sit through so much of her whining? Anyway, at a party later on, most of the characters are attending it and Emma is once again complaining. She is then approached by Andre, who doesn't even know her name.
You're Cricket, right?
Emma.
But despite that, he asks her to risk her life and career in order to help infiltrate the underground lab. Why exactly would she sacrifice everything to help him? She doesn't even know who the fuck he is, and the last time she trusted somebody, she was betrayed by that bitch last episode, which should make her even more distrustful of strangers, and yet despite all of that, she just agrees to help.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
Andre takes Emma to the secret door, gives her a tiny GPS tracker that he says will help keep track of her. Surely anybody should know that you would lose signal when you go underground, but Andre is an idiot, and the reason why Andre is so stupid is because the writers need his plan to fall apart, for which they can use as an excuse to get everybody else involved. So Emma walks under what seems to be a regular door and not a sealed one, and makes it all the way to Sam's room. Now Emma can't actually do anything to help him escape, so what exactly was the plan?
I don't know.
Well, luckily for them, Sam already knows how to get out.
I mean, I guess I could give you the codes to all the security doors.
Why is the security in this place so shit? Never mind the fact that he already escaped beforehand in episode 1, and so the codes to every door should have all been changed. But why aren't there at least 2 or 3 additional security measures in place, especially for such a dangerous individual? Again, it's because the writers are so talentless that they have made this secure lab more accessible than a McDonald's drive-thru. The alarms then go off as they somehow know she is here, and Sam gets electrocuted. Now, for some reason, the guard opens the door and comes into the room of a hyper-dangerous individual who has already killed dozens of men. Why exactly does he do this? Well, because if the people running this facility weren't retarded, then Emma would not be able to come to Sam's rescue, as she seems to have Ant-Man levels of strength, because she jumps the distance of what the equivalent would be a football field, and manages to reach the guard before climbing through his ear, killing him. We cut back to the party and Jordan is insulting Marie. Marie then decides to tell Jordan her entire backstory in front of Kate as well.
Why?
Because the writers aren't capable of having their characters become friends organically, so they have to make them do stupid shit like this in order to fast track their relationships into becoming best friends in one episode. Real people don't behave like this, because why would you tell someone, especially if that person hates you, about a terrible secret you're ashamed of? A secret which can be used against you to destroy your newfound popularity. Anyway, Andre shows up and instead of taking Kate to one side, as she already knows about the lab, he just tells everybody about the experiments alongside the fact that he got Emma involved and can no longer track her because she is underground. But of course, everybody, including Jordan, who doesn't even know who the fuck Emma is, just agrees to help. None of these characters feel like real people as they bend and change into whatever the plot needs them to be. One moment they are selfish assholes not caring about anybody but themselves, and the next they are willing to risk their very lives for complete strangers. It's like everybody suffers from some sort of personality disorder. Anyway, that was the end of episode 3. Moving on to episode 4, or better known as the one where nothing happens. It begins with Sam and Emma, who have already escaped the facility despite it being on full lockdown. The door code Sam conveniently had should not work, especially during a lockdown, and yet apparently they do.
That's so fucking lazy.
Not just that, but there seems to be no other security measures in place. No knockout gas, no super strong security doors to slow him down, not even other superheroes on standby. Nope, just more useless security guards that he keeps killing. So Emma and Sam are in hiding after teleporting out of the facility, and we cut to Marie, who is asking a psychic called Rufus for help in finding Emma, but what he ends up doing instead is attempting to rape her.
Nice.
Distracted by Jordan, who just so happens to be nearby, Marie then explodes his dick and we have some awful attempts at humour.
I exploded his dick.
Tag Team Cocksplosion.
Christ, who wrote this?
Now I've noticed that the writers seem to have an unhealthy obsession with dicks. They constantly talk about or show them in every episode. This just shows us that despite them being rabid feminists, the writers are clearly suffering from penis envy.
That's just sad.
Moving on, we are introduced to Tech Knight, a sort of Batman Iron Man knockoff, and he is having a meeting with the dean. He says that he is going to investigate all of the shit happening at the school and is about to leave before saying this.
You're going to blame an innocent student for Luke's hysteria.
I'm gonna Johnny Depp someone so hard they're gonna want to crawl into a hole and die.
Of course, the writers side with Amber Heard, the abuser, simply because she is a woman. Is anybody really surprised at this point?
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Now, Tech Knight has the ability to notice the tiniest of details in the environment, and yet he is somehow unable to find out just who exactly broke Sam out of the lab. All he does is interview 3 people and then gives up because he sucks ass. So what he ends up doing instead is trying to blame the dean for the escape. But the problem with that plan is that the dean is a brown woman and he is a white male. So she outranks him on the diversity chart and somehow ends up turning the tables on him.
You're so predictable.
She somehow gets access to his classified medical records and reveals that he has brain cancer. Now you may be asking yourself, how does a dean have access to Tech Knight's highly confidential medical history?
I don't know.
The writers go on to humiliate him more by saying that his brain cancer causes him to shove his dick inside of everything. The Dean then threatens him by saying that she will release this online. Where did all of these cameras come from, and why has she never used them to locate Sam? It's almost like these were added in specifically for this scene as a Deus Ex bullshit way for her to fuck over Tech Knight, because these cameras, which would come in handy later on, are never used again.
That's fucking stupid.
Now, there are two major flaws with her plan. First off, Vought controls most of the media and would very quickly crush this story. But the second and worst flaw is that she has met Tech Knight out in the woods all alone and secluded. So what exactly stops Tech Knight from just walking over and snapping her neck right there and now? That's right, nothing, as she doesn't say that she has any sort of backup or contingency plans in place should he harm her. The smartest thing that Tech Knight could do is to kill her while she's out in the woods with no witnesses. But of course, he is a white male, so he is too stupid to easily solve this problem, and instead ends up doing exactly what she wants by dropping the investigation, thus making his character completely pointless. He could have very easily been a credible villain, which the show is surely lacking, but instead they turned him into a joke, because the writers clearly didn't want him to outshine the Dean, so they turned him into this.
What the fuck am I watching?
Anyway, we see that Marie and Jordan are now in a relationship despite hating each other last episode. Andre is upset because his dad doesn't act like a hero, despite the fact he only started to care about being a hero last episode. And finally, Emma tells Sam that his brother is dead, so he runs away before breaking into the house of the doctor who's experimenting on him. Everybody shows up and Emma gets really big before pinning him to the ground, and that's the end of episode 4.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
This is what Gen V is, a bunch of retarded characters making dumb decisions that only succeed because everybody else is somehow even more stupid than they are. Episode 3 and 4 only managed to accomplish one thing: get Sam out of the poorly guarded underground facility that he could have left any time he wanted. That's it. The rest of the 2-hour runtime is filled with meaningless drama, as all the other characters ever do is cry about how tough their lives are.
Oh, like you know what pain is. Go try living in a third world country, you little pussy.
The writing quality in Gen V is on par with CW shows, as just like those pieces of shit, they simply waste time talking about their feelings in hallways because they don't actually have a story to tell. And considering that this is getting a season 2, why exactly would the writers try to make a cohesive story when all you need to do is show over-the-top gore and sex scenes for those brain-dead seals to clap to? Anyway, that was Gen V.
It's a piece of shit.